Welcome, everybody, to NoCoders Office Hours, episode 295. I'm your host, Tanya, and I'm here with our members, Zdenko and John. We're going to start in just a moment, but if this is your first time tuning in, NoCoders Office Hours happen 6 times per week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and then a second session on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And what it is we invite our members to Zoom sessions, and we answer any questions they throw at us about Bubble, assuming we have the answers, because nobody can have all of the answers. But we do have a lot of the answers, and we get it right most of the time. And we'd love to answer your Bubble questions. So if you would like to join us and ask your questions, please go to pronocoders.com and sign up for a developer membership today. Hi, Zdenko, you were here first. I think you said you are saving your questions for our session a little later.
Yeah, I think so. This gives everybody a chance, whoever comes in, to use the office hours for their questions. I'll just be watching, and then we can.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Yeah, John, do you have questions today?
As usual, I'm afraid I do. Yeah.
Let's do.
So, shall I share my screen? Right. So we got part of the way through this the other day, and then I've got confused as to what I'm doing. So this is the flow for payment with Stripe. So if I'm on here, I go through and subscribe the user to plan, drop down plans choice, price ID, blah, 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 blah. And then we added this step last time, and then I got completely lost as to what I'm adding where. So frequency, which I don't really know why I need, because they'll all be monthly, but I think a bit of future proofing in case I do annual. So search for subscription plans, each item's frequency. I think that's right. Owner is the current user, I think. Price, I'm not sure what, so I'm basically not sure what I'm doing with these fields.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think properties should be the properties that they have added that they want in their plan. If they haven't done it at this point, you can just delete that and not set it yet. Like if they're signing up and they haven't.
They won't have done that yet. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So then Stripe price ID, I think, is handled because you have the product in Stripe as it's already associated to the option set, which is type.
Okay, so I'm getting rid of that then, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the type, go ahead and click, and you want it's whatever their drop down was.
So it's probably,
you've already signed them up. Like in result 1, you're already signing them up to a specific. So this is looking for the option set option. So wherever that information is coming from,
that's here.
So drop down. Okay, so in step 2, you would just say drop down plan choices.
Okay.
Value. And that should resolve. Yep. And then price, you can do the same. It's drop down plan choices price if you want to store the price on it. So value. And then there should be a price.
No.
Oh, it doesn't look like you're storing the price on the option set. Okay, so I don't know that you need to store the price there. Primarily what you need to store is who owns it, which subscription they're subscribed to, and then you probably want to have a date field so that you know that they're current, like something to tell you like when the last time they paid, when the subscription will expire if they don't pay again.
Okay. That comes back from the Stripe API, doesn't it? Subscription status or something.
Right, exactly. So like you want every time that there's a successful charge to the client, to the customer's card, you want Stripe to come in and update the subscription plan with a new expiration date.
Yeah.
And that way you can restrict the user's ability to do things based on whether they're current with their subscription or not.
Okay. Yeah. So if I add a new field then and put subscription status or something, which I presume is going to be a text, I presume, create that, and then how do I get that back from Stripe?
Right. So that's going to come in through a webhook.
Yeah.
So what we can do is I can share my screen and I can show you how the webhook will work.
Okay.
Hey, Callum, how are you?
I'm good. How's everyone doing?
We're good.
Good.
Good. So I'm going to sign into Stripe on this other screen here. Okay, so when we want to receive information back from another platform into our apps, the easiest way is to set up a webhook, which means that the other app is going to listen for the event to happen, and then as soon as it happens, they're going to send an API call with that information to your app. So in Stripe, the way to do that is can just use, I don't think I'll do this one. I think this is the May sandbox from last year. But you go to developers in Stripe here, and you select webhooks, and then you can go ahead and add an endpoint.
Yep.
And so the endpoint URL that they're looking for is what you would create in a back-end workflow. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Bubble, don't be mean to me. Do what I think, not what I do. So I go to the back-end workflows, and then I can create a new workflow. And when I create this new workflow, Stripe webhook, just for demonstration, I'm going to say, go ahead and open it up. It can be run without authentication and ignore the privacy rules. Instead of doing manual definition here, we're going to detect request data.
Yeah.
And then when we detect data here, we're going to get an endpoint that we can copy.
Yeah.
And we can paste
for something, but
here.
Yep.
And then we have to select which events is it listening to. And in this case, we're going to be listening to, let's see here, a charge event, because that's what Stripe calls it. So when we want to say when a charge is successful or maybe a charge failed, whichever it is. So charge succeeded, we can add this event. And anytime a charge is succeeded in our Stripe, it's going to send the charge object information to this endpoint. So we're going to add the endpoint, and then we can test the endpoint. So I can go in here. This is where I got a little bit turned around the last time. So I didn't know how to, I wanted to send a test event, and Stripe has changed the way it does things. It doesn't just let me test. So I think what I'd have to do is I'd actually have to charge something in this test account.
Yeah.
And then it will send back, and then I will get the information here. And then the key point is that after that happens, I have to come back and edit this endpoint and take off the initialize.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's how you're going to know that there was a successful or a failed charge, and you can do different workflows based on either of those things happening. And then you can keep your subscription thing that you're creating in your database can be kept up to date.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I might get you to, I might ping you later on Slack and get you to send me this video when we're done, if that's all right.
Sure. Absolutely. No problem.
No doubt I'll have to go over this a few times to remember what to do.
Yeah, no, it can get a little tricky. I think they used to have a button where you could just send sample data in right away, and they removed that ability as far as I can tell. So instead you have to actually send in an actual like test charge, and then it will succeed, and then it will send out the information.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Fabulous, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Hey, Callum. Have any questions for today?
I do. I did ask it in the chat though. It was about the HTML stuff. So I might as well share my screen. One sec. Blank screen. There we go. So I'm using the recipe API to pull in recipes, funny enough, and I've got them here and they show up very nicely when they load, but they've got this kind of text, and that text is HTML text. Now I can put the HTML text, it's a text call basically, and it pulls in the text, but the text is formatted as HTML. So I can either display it in a text element, at which point it shows all the HTML stuff like the breaks and the pages and stuff like that, or I can put it in an HTML element, but it comes out like that and the colors are gray. My question is, do you know how to change the color of dynamic HTML text?
So you're putting it, you're showing it in an HTML element, is that right?
Correct. I'm just trying to find. There we go. Nope, wrong one. Recipes. It's a floating group. There we go. I've even spelled recipes wrong. How nice. Yeah, there we go. So that summary evaluates the text. It's an HTML. Is there some HTML? And I appreciate we're on a no code call talking about code. Is there a way to put some code around that to whatever is in there goes a certain color?
Probably. So you probably just need the tag to change the color, right? I forget what the tag to change an HTML color is. It's been a long time.
HTML color. Thanks.
So do you know what that HTML looks like?
Well, I think it's different because it's dynamic. So I need something that overrides whatever is put in there, because in there will be a gray color code for that text, but I don't know where.
What does it look like in the in DevTools?
Like if you
actually preview that page.
Yes, so I think if you print that HTML in a text element instead, we should be able to find that, and then we could probably do like a find and replace
That was what I thought initially. And then I realized that because it was a HTML element, it could be bringing the text. I think that way might work, but it assumes that all the text is the same color, right?
Well, I mean, it would, if you're doing a find and replace for that text, then you're only changing it where
you'd have to find the hex code within the text, and if the hex code has to match exactly, doesn't it? So it would have to be exactly the same. Let's just have a look. Yeah, that takes a while. There we go. There you go.
It's bringing in
okay.
all that.
So you got like, I can see like href, which is providing the URL link for it. I can see the BR, but I can't see anything at the top, which is setting the color of it.
So then just try putting a color tag around it and see if it changes the color.
Yeah. So
You want both to be in the same color, or you just, or not?
I suppose it'd be white.
Okay.
And yeah, all the text can be exactly the same color. It doesn't bother me. Cool. So what are the tags then? So it's text. There we go.
You want it, white is just 6 Fs.
6 Fs, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't looking for the hex code. I was looking for what the tag needs to look like.
The style tag or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
the tag that's going to turn it.
Depends what
Okay.
it depends what it is, doesn't
Is
it?
it? I think it's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can do the important thing, can't you?
Yeah.
You can.
So what should, if it was this, would it just be what's in there, but do it as the hex code? No.
I don't know. I think it's not necessarily style. I think maybe a font color tag. Click on where it says up at the top, HTML font, scroll back up, font color tag. People also search for font color there, that one.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
deprecated.
Yeah.
Meh.
It's normally just color or body color.
Yeah, but it's whether they've, because I think they've used like H1 and stuff tags in there, haven't they? I don't know, maybe not.
I didn't see any.
So what are the properties of that in the element inspector? If you right click on the text and select the properties of that to inspect it.
So, I can't go back to it now. I've already changed it. You see what Keir Starmer said today, John?
Yeah. Be
He
interested
must be-
if he gets a fine, won't it?
He must be very, very, very confident he's not
Yeah.
getting a fine.
Yeah.
Like, here we go. The HTML font element is found within the body tag. The font tag is obsolete. Use CSS. So can you use CSS within an HTML element?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do it?
Yeah. If you bring up the page,
There's it.
what I think what you need to do is have a look at the actual, what it's actually spitting out the front end. So that's what I'm saying. If you grab where it is in your demo and then have a look at the properties in that element inspector, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on, I would have thought.
Got you. So there it is there.
Yeah,
and
so
then
right click that and just do inspect. Yeah, but you need to get that up in that preview bracket.
Yeah.
So expand that div. So that's your text. Is it steak with lemon and capers, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the thing to the very far right we can't see properly? Can you bring that out? Just scroll down. So it's just applying, looks like it's just applying everything at that div level, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So they've not given it a proper ID or anything like that.
No, doesn't look like it.
So what color is it? Gray, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just some weird grey.
So it's that body tag. So if you scroll down again, it was that body that's doing it. So that tells you what you need to keep going down. I saw it somewhere.
That one there.
So you're wanting to change the style of that body tag. The trouble is if you just use body, if you just use body, it will change it everywhere. So you probably, the way I do it is I drop, well, there's a few ways of doing it. Is it only this page you want it changing on? I take it is.
Well, it's just this HTML element.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is if you target body, it will change everything that is called body there on that page. It won't just change that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I do it within the HTML, Bubble doesn't automatically confine it just to that HTML element.
I don't think it's bubble. I think it's, I mean, you can try it. So if you put a style tag in there and then.
So what, when you say style, I've not done this before.
So I think you do the open, whatever you call them, arrow thing.
Yeah.
That's it. Style. And then close the arrow. And then I think you have to close, that's it, close that. And then you put your CSS in there, I think, between the style tags. Okay,
so that's my question. Where do I put the, so let's format it a bit better. So where do I put it to change the color of it then?
I can't remember if you put it inside that opening style tag or after the opening style tag. Hang on a minute, because it's called inline styling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Inline style. Let's have a quick look. Inline style. Let me just see how they've done it. Oh yeah, you put it after the opening tag. So basically you want to do, let me show you my screen a minute.
Yeah.
I can get back to bloody Zoom. Right. Okay, so can you see that? So they've got style and then they are then targeting body like that. And then they're closing the style. Does that make sense?
Yep. So give me a sec. So it's going to be.
So you want style and then you want body, opening squiggly bracket thing. But then body, in your case, you.
Curly brackets.
And then in your case, you just want color, don't you, rather than background color, I think.
It's the American spelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then curly brackets, is it? No, it's not. It's my color. Color is just white, right?
Yeah, well, hash F.
Is it? Or is it? Oh, so you can use.
You can use white, but
you can't have F. Cool. And then close curly brackets.
And then I think I can't see your screen at the moment, but I think then your actual HTML needs to come. So your actual thing you're calling in needs to come after your closing style tag, I think.
I want to let me share my screen. Tell me.
Yeah, so you're going to need, I think you take that parent group's vernaculars result. I think you drop that after your closing style tag. Yeah.
Like that.
And then you need to put a semicolon at the end of your hex value.
Like that, yeah?
Yeah, let's see what that does.
Tanya, if John gets this right, is this making the pro coder?
Yeah, no.
Ooh, he's got it. Nice one. Thanks, John.
No problem. So if you find it getting overwritten by something else, then you need to just put that exclamation mark important at the end, which you might want to do just to be safe, but it looks like it's taking it.
Yeah, it looks like it's done it. Awesome. Cool. Appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem.
Awesome. John, back to you.
Right. What else have I got? So, what was it the other day? Right. Let me show you this, see if you've got any thoughts. This is not critical, but I've changed test list shifter to keywords, by the way, just to really confuse myself. But I thought it was actually quite useful to have it as something I actually knew what it was. I have got this working, he says. So in here, we were playing with this. So is not, contains, etc. now works. So if I do, he says contains, and I put split, then it now filters it down to everything that says split, which is what we were trying to do the other day. So that's cool, and it works on all these. What I was wanting though, and I've dropped it for now, but I did want begins with and ends with as well as options, but I can't work out to do that. I think I need to do it regex, and it's annoying because I know what the regex is. I just can't work out how the hell I apply it. So if I go, now how did I build all this? If I go into wherever this is, I think it's in here somewhere, in filters, query drop down. Oh, that's just for that, isn't it? Let me find it. Oh, I know the easiest way to show you. So what it's doing is I'm using a load of custom states to determine whether or not what the user has selected in the drop downs is not, etc., etc. So it gets quite easy. So you've got keyword equals current filter is, keyword contains is, keyword filter contains, keyword does not equal is not, keyword does not contain, etc. So they're easy to build because Bubble gives me those as thingies, so I can do contains, not equal, etc.
Sure.
What I want to do is say, well, okay, keyword, and then filter it based on some regex I give you, and or have a starts with, doesn't start with type thing. But I can't see how I go about doing that. So
I think that's going to require, instead of a field filter, it's going to require an advanced filter. And because you only want to do advanced filters if they're absolutely necessary, instead of putting it in line with all of the rest of your filters, I would basically copy that expression for the list to shift, and then do a conditional that says when those inputs are not empty, for like, so when the query is like begins with or something, then you do the list to shift, and then you do an advanced filter to get out what you're looking for.
okay, so do a conditional on the list.
That way you're only running the advanced filter if they choose one of those advanced filters. So
Okay.
yeah.
So assuming, okay, so let's for a minute go with, let's make this up a minute. Let's shift this keyword. Right.
So what's true if they just decided that they wanted to do no, so like when they've selected begins with, how do you know that that's true? That's what you want to put in that conditional.
Because I'm outputting it to a state in the page.
Okay, so when that state is begins with, that's what you want in your when conditional right there.
Yeah.
So when they've selected begins with.
So so I don't have that at the moment, so I took it out, but let's just for now say filtered keyword is, which I know is wrong. It'd be filtered keyword
Sure.
starts with, but because I did try doing it this way and I still couldn't work it out. So if filtered keyword is, which
I mean, we can work with the advanced filter and the regular one if you want. That's fine.
No, that's fine.
Like,
so if I do keywords filter is, so I just want that to be, so that's not going to work, because I need to tell it is something.
mm-hmm.
So is not empty, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So let's go with this, because the bit I struggled with was the regex. So, okay, so now I'm saying.
So
what?
Just copy from the appearance section, just copy the expression.
This.
Uh-huh. And then paste it. So, yeah. So the element that's going to be true, or the thing that's going to be true, is you want that, what are they calling it on the other page?
On here.
The list to shift. So go to conditional, and list to shift is the second one. There you go. And now you can paste it.
Yeah, get rid of the filtered. Don't want that, do I?
Okay. No, that's perfect. You want the filtered.
All right, okay.
So now add a new constraint, though. In the filtered section, add a new constraint. And do an advanced.
Yeah.
And so here's where it comes in. You want to be able to do this. You want to be able to do the comparison with your regular expression.
Mm.
And
what
you
I really
can't
want to say
do.
is it's something like advanced and then keyword and then filter with this regex.
Okay, so click and then say probably. But you're still going to run into the same things if you choose another filtering here. So it's kind of how we can. I don't know. Probably going to have to play around with this and just find how you can get to that regular expression to do the comparison. But my favorite thing to do with the advanced is to use this API call or this list shifter. Like, so if you say this list shifter, original list,
keyword. Because you see, I can do each item extract with regex. See, I don't want to extract the keyword. I want to filter on it. So
yeah, but if
this is where I was getting puzzled.
But once you
you see, there's no regex in there. So
could we do it with like a combination of arbitrary text?
Well, I might be able to do that because I tried that approach to start with. So I was outputting the custom state as arbitrary text that was actually the regex expression. But then the filter wouldn't work because it wasn't seeing it as regex. It was just seeing it as text.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? So what I might do is, because I'm going to probably leave it as on the back burner because I don't need it for getting the MVP out there. It's a nice to have. So I think I'll come back to it, but I might have to tackle it. I was looking at, there is the toolbox thing, which allows me to run JavaScript and stuff on the page. So I might do it that way and try and run it somehow in there. I don't know. I need to have a think about it.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
You'd think it would be fairly straightforward to just say the filter I want is a regex one, but it doesn't seem to like that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you.
Well, we'll keep putting our brains to it.
Yeah.
I've seen you come up with some amazing stuff.
Well,
just thinking about it over time.
After much swearing at it, that's usually my approach.
Well, I mean, there's a certain amount of swearing that should be expected when you're working with Bubble, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. Adam has joined us. Adam, do you have a question today?
I do, but obviously if someone else was here first, I came in kind of halfway through.
Can I be a massive pain and jump in with one really simple question because I've got to run to a call? Is
Go
that
for
all right, Adam? You sure? It's probably one for John again. I'm trying to scale down the size of the text, and I'm assuming this is going to be a very, very simple. You just need to put in this CSS. Would you mind walking me through it again, John? He's disappeared, hasn't he?
I don't know.
I did a runner because I thought, I'm not sure. You mean, so I was on mute. Do you mean a smaller font size?
Yeah, just a smaller font size because you can't change the font size here.
Yeah. So just add it in. Just add it as part of that style tag. So if you do where you've got color and then the
so I do it within body.
Yeah. So just put it in there, and it's font hyphen size.
So font hyphen size.
colon, and then whatever you want. So 14px, let's say, and then the semicolon.
Oh, cool. Okay. Save. And just to check, because it's the same, it's kind of the same size as that. Okay, so that's 16. So let's just do this something ridiculously small to test it. Let's just do it with like 8 or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to torment you guys by waiting for my app to refresh. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
No problem. That should definitely work. So.
Oh yeah, cool. Oh, there we go. It's come out now anyway. There we go. Must be. Yep, fantastic. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. Hi, Adam.
Hi. Okay, so John's been super helpful with the Shopify, like me understanding Shopify essentially. And you guys really like poked a big, no pun intended, but like you popped my bubble last time because I had this idea that I was gonna be able to do this affiliate marketing program with IP addresses, but John was like, those change all the time. And it's, yes, okay, yeah, you have a very good point. So I'm essentially just trying to access the URL parameters that get sent to a Shopify order back into my app, because essentially the whole concept here is that I'm creating just a typical affiliate marketing program through Shopify, right? So what would happen is someone would accept a campaign, they would get a URL made, which would basically have all those parameters that we're sending through into Shopify later. So the parameters would be, who that user is, which campaign it is after the campaign has been created. And then when someone who's purchasing a Shopify item from that person would click that link, they would pass through this one part of my bubble app to basically track one click and then to check if it's the conversion later. Now, if using these parameters, I can just actually include those parameters in the link where they don't even have to pass through my bubble app, and they really just go straight to the Shopify site, and we can track clicks another way. That's great too. I'm kind of just like at the baby stages of this. I don't really understand it too much, and I would love just a little bit of clarity on how I can pull those URL parameters that I've sent into the Shopify app back into my bubble app for data purposes.
Okay. I don't know Shopify at all. So I think.
Oh, I was about to say I know someone, and then I realized it was Adam that I know. You know Shopify. Sorry.
And John knows Shopify. So if I understood you correctly, like if you're adding URL parameters to the links that the user is clicking to get to the Shopify page, then you just want to be able to track those sales or whatever, and then pull that information back out of Shopify, the URL parameter information, in order to match it up with and add data to your bubble app.
Exactly. So it was a UTM. So John actually sent me an article in Shopify that was how to get UTM parameters associated with the order. And basically, I'm just trying to access the UTM parameters through this plugin that I have. That essentially, I'm pretty sure I know how to do it, but I just want like a walkthrough if possible, because here, I'm just going to share my screen really fast. So there's all these things that you can access, right? And one of them is fields. And it says that you can retrieve only certain fields specified by a comma separated by a list of field names. I'm assuming that this URL parameter could be accessed through here. And or a group of them, and I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this, right? Like, is this a backend workflow? Can I somehow trigger it so that anytime an order is placed in the store, it sends information to my app?
Yeah, it sounds like you want to, if it's possible, you want to set up a webhook from Shopify that every time an order is placed, it sends in details about that order to your Bubble app. And then with that information, like if you structure Shopify correctly, that information should hopefully include the UTM parameters that you can use then to add that information into Bubble.
Yes, but I have to be a little bit creative here because it won't be a regular webhook in the sense of like people will be able to connect to multiple Shopify stores, right? So it's not like me going into one. I'm not going to have access to all of their stores on the Shopify end, if that makes sense. So like I won't be able to log into Shopify.
Well, that complicates things. And so you're not going to be able to log into Shopify to get that information. Then
no, but I mean, like, let me check out like elements. Yeah, like.
So you'll be able to query. So you could do this like on a time, like you can do this on a timer, right?
Yeah.
So like
so
you won't know, right? You won't know exactly when an order is placed. You won't be able to get Shopify to tell you that, but you can go check on all of the orders placed in the last hour. Right?
Yeah, and the concept is like get the orders that have each UTM parameter, because there will be multiple campaigns running at the same time, right? So it's kind of like, that's why I have all these different campaigns, and every single one's going to have a different UTM parameter, and then I just want them to all kind of total out the amount of money that each has made, and then kind of like have a way to pay people for being able to promote the product successfully.
Right. So the part that I'm limited on is in terms of I don't know what you would query to get those UTMs back from the Shopify API. And if you don't have access to each account to set them up correctly, it's possible that you won't be able to do it unless the people signing up for the app would be willing to go and make those changes in their own Shopify stores. Because I
would really hope that you can just access. Yes, if they allow you to get a UTM parameter, I'd hope, I mean, like, this is pretty like robust of a.
John, are you saying something? I think John was saying something.
No, I'm just clicking.
No, you're just listening. Okay.
I'm looking at the Shopify's API specs to work out what the right thing is to bring back the UTM values. So
yeah, because like you can get things that are kind of personal, like information here. So I figure a UTM is one of the, like, on the layers of being personal, it's one of the least personal things in comparison to the other type of stuff that you can access.
Yeah,
from this.
no, it just, what matters is whether or not Shopify is storing that in their database and whether or not they're making it accessible to you. So I'm assuming that they're storing it in their database. I just don't know if they're making it accessible.
Yeah, I do believe that they are. This is the link. So it looks like when you look at an order, these are the UTM parameters. So they are stored within it. You just have to go into conversion details. So that's what I'm trying to access. And I also want to know what I should pass into Shopify in order to make this successful, right?
Gotcha.
So I can answer some of this. So what you pass into Shopify is you need to create a correctly formatted UTM URL. So I think Google has a tool that allows you to build a UTM URL. So basically it would be a domain like mystore.com / blah, blah, blah. And then it's something, there's a load of stuff, and then it's like campaign equals, and then that's whatever campaign name you give it, etc. But there's a Medium Source, I think, are the other two, aren't they? But there is a tool that I think Google provides that shows you how to create a UTM formatted URL, because it's a Google, the whole UTM thing is a Google thing. They invented it.
And obviously I would be able to make that dynamic data, correct?
Well, the name that you give the campaign, the medium and the source, the value that you give to campaign would need to be dynamic. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And then
I just posted the link for the URL builder.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
So that will allow you to see how to build a UTM URL. The question then, which I think where Tonya is going, is does this API that you've got already, does it already access a person's Shopify store or
Yes.
not?
So the good thing
Okay.
is I'm going to show you, like, so basically the reason I got it, the reason I was like, this is the one, is because it allows you to access multiple Shopify stores. Even if one user wants to have 10, they could. Because they're stored as auth tokens. So you have access to so much information here. So like, I'm just going to start a new text just to show you like what we're dealing with. So API Shopify, like this is the amount of stuff that you can get, right? And you can get a list of orders, but then it goes down and you can get all this information from each order.
Yeah.
Whether it's
So the business about can you or can't you retrieve the UTM value, because each store owner's got to let you get that. You're already effectively getting information for that person's already authorized you to get data from their store. So you should be able to pull back the UTM value.
I think I actually just found a spot where it says each item's reference site, a source identifier, source URL. So I think there's something in this. Do you guys recommend that I just reach out to the plugin creator and ask the best way to do this, or?
Yeah, it might just be a matter of vocabulary. Like you need to know which words are being used in the API. Because if you're not seeing UTM parameters, then maybe they're calling it something else.
Right.
Like source or campaign or yeah.
Yeah. And I've sent you a link in the chat that is what all the field names are in Shopify for the UTM stuff.
Got it.
So that tells you exactly what you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. We're going to move into after hours. After hours is what happens when we stop the recording for office hours and we turn on the cameras and we talk about other things that aren't, that we don't want to broadcast to the rest of the world. But you have to be a member to join the after hours conversation. So please go to ProNoCoders.com and sign up for a developer membership today. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to see you, help you out with your questions, and hang out with you in after hours. See you soon.
Things get wet and wild.